On today's episode, I talk about motivation, both intrinsic and extrinsic, and also how exercise and self-affirmations can give you a boost in your motivation levels for the day. This is Rooted with Robert, reminding you to breathe in that joyous air. First and foremost, I just want to give a shout out to the Me Time podcast, to my buddies Max and Eric. They are killing the game right now with their episodes. They talk about a whole range of things, and they're just both entertaining, funny guys. So I would definitely check them out. Some Me Time podcast. I'll put their link in the description here. Welcome back to Rooted with Robert. This is episode 3, and today we're talking about motivation. Yeah, you heard it. What gets you up in the morning, huh? Is it that cup of coffee? Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you. So motivation is a pretty cool thing. I think we as a psychology student, it comes up every now and then, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions to it, as well as a lot of ideas that people don't apply to themselves regarding it. And so there's like the implicit motivation, the implicit where you're kind of self-motivated, and there's the intrinsic, the implicit, then there's the explicit motivation. So if I go to the gym, my friend will buy me food, so you're motivated by the food, or you're motivated by the money to go to work, or that's the extrinsic. I think that's the word, extrinsic. I gotta look this up in the meantime. I just gotta refresh it. It's been a while. But motivation is it's interesting, because I don't necessarily think it's like, oh, we have this born motivation. I mean, I think it really comes down to like a deeper concepts of like self-esteem, how much you have self-doubt, if any. Let's see what else is on. I mean, your qualities of patience and the ability to wait for things, self-acceptance and stuff like that. I think those are all underlying motivation. I don't think motivation is just something of itself. Let's see. I'm trying to find this here. I'm pretty sure it's extrinsic. For all you out there, help me out. Give me a little bit of mental telepathy here. Ooh, self-control. I just saw that. Big part. Discipline. That's another thing. I actually got that on my list. Discipline. So, what gets you motivated? You wake up in the morning. You're in bed. The alarm goes off. You snooze it because you don't want to get up. It's so comfy in my bed. Well, no shit, it's comfy in your bed because you're just sleeping for 8 fucking hours. I mean, come on now. People don't think sometimes, but that's just like the one thing. Get out of bed. If you wake up in the morning, your alarm goes off, get out of bed. Once you put yourself in that position where you're out of bed, you start moving, drink some water, get your body into the motions of the day, start having it get moving, let it start working instead of postponing it by your own damn laziness, because you don't want to do what the day has in store for you, and that's just kind of bullshit. So it is extrinsic. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Doubting myself. See, that's self-doubt. It'll kill you. But so yeah, I mean, I think the intrinsic motivation is key to long-term success. Extrinsic motivation, in my eyes, definitely leads to short-term goals, and it could definitely take you from point A to point B, but I don't think it'll take you from point A to point Z. So building the discipline, a disciplined practice, and practicing patience. What else? I think those are the two biggest things, and being self-aware are huge components in boosting your motivation levels throughout the day. And it's also like just kind of like a stress threshold, because if you get really stressed, you also pretty much get discouraged because you feel like you have a lot. You feel like you may be running an uphill battle. You have a lot of resistance against you. But if you have a higher stress threshold, you don't really necessarily feel that, or you see the true value of the stress, and it's not really too much to bring you down in that moment. But in reality, all that aside, I do think patience is probably the biggest on that, and I do anticipate me talking about patience in a separate podcast, most likely with one of my friends as a guest. That way we can bounce ideas off it. But it's just so crucial, and people always would say, patience is a virtue, and the meaning has probably been overshot by many because it's been so overused. But it really is, because nothing is short term. Everything is basically long term if you let it play out. So that's like the whole being in the moment, because when you're in the moment, you're not waiting on some kind of consequence. And I don't mean consequence by like a negative, but consequence as like an effect of a cause. So when you're in the moment, you're not expecting, or you're not waiting on something to happen. You're just living with whatever is there. You're just being. They always say that you're just being. And that's where patience comes in, because you have no need. When you're patient, you have no need to want more, because in that moment, you're willing to wait. You're willing to absorb each moment that's there, and until something forms out of all those moments being used and compiled and experienced, I guess, in general. So that is a big thing with motivation. Just kind of knowing that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. But if you're having to sprint your marathons, I know some of you out there trying to get me, then you know what? You're gonna gas out eventually. Unless you're just naturally genetically talented, then kudos to you. But some of us are not that likely to have that gene pool. You lucky son of a... I'm not gonna say. But so yeah, motivation. I want to talk about the extrinsic motivation first. I think it's important, at least temporarily, starting out, starting new habits and stuff like that. So if you have a bad habit and you're really trying to change it, you can reward yourself to be motivated to do the opposite of that habit. So for example, let's see, as a college student, just homework comes to mind. If you have a paper due on Monday and you're known for procrastinating papers until Sunday, and you that stresses you out and you really want to stop doing that, well, you'll be more motivated to start that paper earlier if you reward yourself with lunch or something that you enjoy, some free time, some time to just do whatever you want. And then a lot of people will say, well, I have the freedom to do whatever I want, so why don't I just get the reward now? Well, here we go. This is where the patience comes in. This is where instant gratification always will kill you, because if you get it now, you're ruining the whole point of the process, the whole point of discipline, because it takes away the value of everything. I mean, it really does, and you don't see it, and that's why people will partake in it, because they don't see it, so they think like they're benefiting, but in the long run, they're really taking away from the experiences that they can be having and the growth that can be made or had, because of all those leaps that they've taken. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I mean, it's good for the temporary to get past things, to get into the motion, but then at some point it's got to transform to the intrinsic. It's got to come from within, because the best motivation is always going to come from within you and not from someone else. because when that someone else is not here, so you're just not going to do that task because they're not here. So then maybe that task was never really important to you. And I think that's kind of another important topic just to kind of bounce off from. If you're doing something and with someone else or whatever, and then they're not able to do it with you, and then you find yourself stopping that activity, then that's a pretty clear sign that activity was never something of value to you in the first place, because if it really was, you would have stuck with it the whole time. That's I see that every now and then, and I've experienced that every now and then myself. It's kind of just like an eye-opener. It's like, well, you were doing it more so for the role that other person played in the activity rather than the activity itself and what it does for you. So that could be anywhere from someone working out with their roommate or whatever, but then when the roommate doesn't go to the gym, they don't go to the gym. It's like, come on now, that just doesn't make any sense. Go to the damn gym, get off your lazy ass, and be motivated. Go to the gym already, because it's only gonna benefit you. It's only gonna benefit you. So for all you people out there, I know a couple. You wake up, you go to your phone, you go on your laptop, you do anything that is gonna let you stay in bed for as long as possible before you have to actually do anything. And don't get me wrong, this is great. If it's the weekend, you've had like a busy week, and you want to sleep in, that's totally cool. But like, if it's during the week, unacceptable in my opinion. I mean, just like, don't you have any? Okay, let me rewind a little bit. When you wake up, I think it's a good time to kind of to sit with yourself. So like, if this requires you to be in bed still, to sit there, to kind of waking up, to kind of just feel for yourself, reconnect with your body, kind of start waking your mind and stuff like that. That's one thing. But once you wake up, you start jumping right into social media or something like that. Oh my God, you're instantly giving away your right to yourself, like as soon as you wake up. I mean, come on, just like think about it. You wake up, and the first thing that you're giving your mind's attention to is something else, someone else's status, what someone else is doing, just someone else's life in general, or just being on social media. You're getting exposed to a ton of advertisements because that's all they're doing. So, that's just not, to me, that's just not a great way to wake up and start your day, because you're already losing focus on what you could have been motivated to do from the beginning if you just woke up, reconnected with your body and mind, and were just like, okay, here's where I'm at today, because you got to check in with yourself before you check in with anyone else. Here's where I'm at today. And then from there, you get out of bed, you start doing your things, and there should be things in the day that just excite you. It's a new day. It's a fresh new day. Like, oh my God, the possibilities are endless. Go out, do something new. Go out, hit the gym, feel good. Get those hormones going. Get that stress released. There's so many things that you can look forward to as soon as you wake up. But the most important thing is checking in with yourself. And yeah, going back to the whole wake up and hit that social media is like the opposite. So you're checking in with other people. And yeah, I mean, social media, I have my own opinions about that. I think it's pretty crazy on how it controls our lives. And there are definitely cool benefits of it. Like, yeah, Facebook, you can connect with friends. It's great. You can see what friends are doing. Twitter, I don't really understand that much. It kind of just like makes me upset. But like, come on, you guys know what I'm saying. Like, I know you know what I'm saying. I know you, Paul, out there, you're listening right now, and you're thinking, oh man, he's got me right now. Yeah, I got you, Paul. Just don't do it. Check in with yourself before you wrecking yourself. So you always gotta have a little fun rooter with Robert, because we're always having a little bit of fun, getting that dopamine bumping and that love jumping. Whew, the rhymes are going today. So let me get some of your opinions. I want to hear some opinions from whoever's going to be listening to this podcast. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing that you do? Whether it be get a glass of water, check your phone, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, whatever it is, let me know what is the first thing that you do in the morning. I'm really interested in what that is. I know for me, it really depends on the day. It really depends on how much sleep I've had. But I'll wake up, I'll turn off my alarm, I'll drink some water, and this is all on my nightstand, so it's all accessible. Drink some water, and then I'll write in my daily journal book, which is another thing which is great. Starting off writing 3 things that I'm grateful for, 3 amazing things that to do today, or that would happen, 3 things that would be amazing if it happened today, and then a self-affirmation. So that's a great way to check in with yourself. But you don't have to do that. I would even say it's sufficient, and even just more than sufficient, it's great if you just wake up and just breathe, just feel your breath, get that fresh oxygen in your lungs. You're not dormant anymore, you just woke up. It's a great time to prime yourself for a productive day, and a day of high productivity and motivation is what I mean. But so the reason why I'm talking about all these routines, these morning routines, is because it directly links to motivation. Because I believe that the first part of your day, obviously when you wake up, is going to prime yourself for the rest of the day. So if you're priming yourself with laziness, how much harder is it going to be to not be lazy later in the day? The first thing you did today was be lazy. So you might get out of that and then go do some stuff, but hopefully you'll do the right things that totally get you out of it. But working out probably will be one of the best things that can get you out of that laziness. But if you don't do that type of stuff, then you're just gonna dread and just go on with your day, just dreading what you got to do. I don't know if people are doing that, but just from experience. So that's one thing, and I think working out plays a big part of this, because when your health is good and you have workouts where your heart is pumping like crazy, your lungs are breathing heavy, I think those are the workouts that bring your body back to a state of presence. And I'm talking once the workout's over, not during the whole respiratory crazy breathing and heart rate and stuff like that. I'm talking after the workout, you're feeling good. It just boosts your energy, it boosts your concentration, it boosts your mental focus, and you're just able to kind of get back to those goals. Because the goals is where, goals on all levels of the spectrum are where your motivation kind of falls into. And I really kind of want to go back and talk about this working out, because now that I'm thinking about it, so I do these workouts after I'm done lifting weights. It's called high intensity interval training. I'm sure many people know about it these days. I remember back when I first started doing it, wasn't too much known, but now I guess more research is coming out about how good it is for fat loss and how good it is for just performance recovery even. But my favorite thing about this is, let me go back. So high intensity interval training is one thing, but then there's also Tabata, whatever you want to call it, workouts where it's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for 4 minutes. So it is no excuse, besides the fact that it hurts like hell, that you should not be doing this, because you got the people like, I don't got time for this or whatever. But come on now, 4 minutes is crazy. So I do this after I'm done lifting to just spark up my metabolism before my first meal. And I do this, I find that it is the best when I do this on the stationary bike, because that one is like, the faster you go, the more resistance it provides. So it's like crazy intense. The days that I do that, like in when the workout is, my lungs are just filling with air, like hyperventilating almost, and my heart's just beating out of my chest, and I feel like there's no way I'm going to do this anymore. My muscles are fatiguing. Those are the workouts where the rest of my day is primed with a higher level of energy and motivation. So that's kind of why I mentioned it, because when it comes to working out, it's great if you work out, if you lift weights, if you do cardio, you walk on the treadmill, you run on the treadmill, you go on the elliptical, which is kind of bad for your joints, but that's another thing. But it's about your heart rate and your breathing capacities, because that's really what so I guess I'm saying more cardiovascular, but even like what I was doing, the Tabata and the HIIT, the HIIT, high intensity interval training, it's also anaerobic too, because it's short burst. It's not moderate intensity for longer periods of time, or low intensity for moderate periods of time. So I would give it a try. If you guys don't work out too often, just do that 4 minute. Just look it up. 4 minute Tabata exercises, and you can do it with. I've done it with jumping jacks. You just put exercises in it. Jumping jacks, burpees, push-ups, planks, high knees, mountain climbers. You pick 4 exercises, or you can pick 8, I guess, and or you can pick 2. You just cycle them. Let's say you do jumping jacks for 20 seconds, 10 seconds off. Mountain climbers for 20 seconds, 10 seconds off. The next exercise, 20 seconds, 10 seconds off. The next one, and then you repeat. Or if you do 8, you just go through it all the way. Or if you do 2, you have to repeat it an extra set of times. So it's really easy, 4 minutes, but if you do it, if you push yourself to your greatest capacity, it will yield you some great results. Let me tell you. You don't really have to care about your fat loss or whatever, but it's really good at targeting a fat loss while maintaining and even boosting muscle mass and stuff like that, just because of the way that the workout is functioning with your body. So yeah, I highly recommend it, and let me know. I highly believe that it affects your motivation levels, because most likely if you're not doing it, then it takes motivation to even do it, because it can be painful. It's like, I remember when I do it really hard, it reminds me of back in junior high or whatever, when we had to run the mile, and then my breath would sting because I was so out of shape and I couldn't run the mile. That's what it reminds me of, because that's what it feels. I could feel the blood in my gums because they're so oxygenated. That's the best. That's when you know you've hit it on the head. You hit the nail on the head. That's when you know. So I highly recommend that. Yeah, motivation. What a crazy thing. Some people say they don't have it. Some people have a lot of it. It's really just a clear sense of what you want to do, what you need to accomplish, how you need to get there, and really why. What's your purpose of doing it? If you don't have a purpose, well, it's going to be hard to get motivated. But we all have a purpose. We just have to let it shine through. We can block it out as much as we want. It's always going to be there, but you're only doing yourself harm. The more you lie to yourself, or the more you try to hide things away without even knowing it, because it's there. You just want to tap into it. You really just want to tap into it, or let it tap into you. Ooh. Because I believe it's there. I believe all of our purpose, all of our passion is within us. We just have to allow it to flourish. So yeah, motivation, stress, and anxiety, and all these topics that we're going to be talking about with here on Rooted with Robert. I got a lot more people on my mind that I want to talk to about some of these things, and I think that each of you out there right now can benefit right now from doing this one thing, and that is go look in the mirror and just tell yourself that you are good enough to do whatever you want to do. Because you know what? It is true, and it can be overlooked. You might say, oh yeah, it's cheesy, it's corny, but come on, man. That's a great way to start your day. Look in the mirror, give yourself some positivity, some self-affirmation to boost yourself up instead of waking up with dread. Like, is this not clear to people? Like, I don't understand. Is this not clear to people? You can wake up. There's like so many ways it can go. You wake up positive, you wake up negative. And like, well, we all know about the positive and negativities and stuff like that. It's like, oh, gotta be positive. But let's think about this for a second. You wake up and you're already dreading the day. Oh, I gotta get up. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to class. Why can't I just lay here? Alright, bum. Your day's already losing its touch on you. I mean, come on. As soon as you wake up, you're already gonna like put that in your mind. Wake up, feel how you're feeling, connect with your body, go in the mirror, give yourself something positive, look at yourself in the eyes, tell yourself something positive about yourself, because you know what? That's the only person you got today that you can control, that you can do something about, and that's going to run your behaviors and actions. So give them something good, and I guarantee you something good will come of it. I highly believe that positivity only brings positivity, and you got to be kind to yourself. You got to be compassionate to yourself. You have to talk to yourself as if, you know, you are your best friend, because ideally you should be your best friend, you know? Yourself should be your only best friend on the deepest level, because that's all we have until we die. Everyone else around us could die. All you got is yourself. Yeah. And no one else knows you like you know yourself. So just prime yourself with good intentions and good goals for the day, a good level of energy, and it'll go a long way. So thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 3 of the podcast. I appreciate it. I'm working hard. If you guys have any feedback for me, I would love it. Doing this by myself is kind of challenging sometimes because I have topics on my head and I just kind of talk about them, but they don't necessarily come off as clearly. Sometimes I'm scatterbrained, but I think I hit this one on the head today, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next episode.